And we are live.
Indeed. Is this thing on? Make podcasting great again.
Keep your hate speech off this podcast.
I really am getting tired of that phrase.
That button. Oh yeah, I gotta do that. All right. Check this out. You ever see this masterfulness right here?
Okay.
Motherfucking turntable. The showcase.
Not the Showcase Showdown from, the one television show.
That's Charlie. Oh, did you see what I made this week?
No, I didn't.
Oh, go on my blog later, after this part. All right, and you too, K Gods.
Alrighty.
All right. I mean, I sent it to you guys. Didn't look at it, but
I might have seen it if you sent it to me.
yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Good.
What I did with Charlotte.
Well, the main thing you do is Charlotte, of course. Paizuri. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Yeah, I'm gonna switch out the figure.
Why?
You'll see. Something I feel is just more appropriate for NTR Radio.
Interesting.
Right. Hold on. I also got that Iori that I was telling you about.
There we go.
The toilet. Yeah.
Well, you said more appropriate, so we need a flushing drop in. Yes.
I'm telling you, she lost control media, toilet bowls, 1/12 scale. No.
I am working. I'm working on a line of 1/12 scale objects.
Yeah.
Beyond, speaking of toilets and flushing, and drop-ins for that matter, we should definitely get the ones from the crazy I like anime guy. I watched it again, and it's still pretty amusing. The guy who's flipping out about being rickrolled.
Oh yeah.
Really wanted to watch Soul Eater. Alrighty then.
Okay, we all ready?
Pretty much, yep.
Let's turn that down a bit. Good. Let me get this link out here. I need an image. There. Okay, the link actually worked for once.
Yeah, check. Making sure the sound sounds like we're in an orange. Check.
Click and drag.
The shadow of my head looks like I got a sweat stain. Look, right here. That's because the light is directly above me.
Gotcha.
It's like literally like right there. And
Holy crap! You might hear an ambulance outside. There's one zooming down the street.
I don't.
I don't either.
You never mentioned it. I never would have noticed. Now all I can think about is that ambulance.
Yep. Well, you could chase it to get where you need to go.
You know what I also would like? A 112 bed.
That can happen. That's probably easier than anything else I'm doing.
Yeah, but I would love like a pillow and like sheets.
That's gonna be more difficult for me because I don't know anything about textiles.
Mm.
I probably like get them, but it's probably a lot easier than I think it is.
Cut them in the correct dimensions that you need, and then, maybe a little glue for the edges. I don't. You don't have to sew. I don't think.
I was about to say I could just sew it.
Or sew.
I know rudimentary sewing.
Alright. And
Middle school.
Like some Boy Scouts level shit.
And then I'll put I'll have sleeping or something.
Now, if you're gonna make 112 scales, you don't forget a shower head.
Ha!
Oh, you're talking about bathrooms.
That's actually not a bad idea. To be perfectly honest.
Hey, even anime girls need to shower, Yeah, that's all they do with it is shower.
It's the only thing they ever do with it is shower.
Yeah, I bet.
Why do they have shower scenes in anime?
Because they want to hurt you.
Because they want to hurt your fifis.
Because they don't like you and your puritanical ways.
Okay. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Forcer Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
I'm VZ Mark II. Happy Rico de Mayo.
Really?
That's actually pretty clever. I like that.
I just thought of it.
That's pretty good. Mother's Day, so you might want to hide those dojins. Because that might get really awkward. Especially if you have some questionable ones. Yeah, questionable ones. Isn't that pretty much all of them? Nah, there actually is some pretty normal ones.
Well, that's all the ones that get any mention around over here.
Well, yeah, but that's because we're all degenerates and messed up, so... So how's everybody doing?
Well, it's been a while, and we can
Yes.
say that it has been a while because it's been longer than normal.
Yep, and I'd like to go on the record and state that last one was probably my fault because I have not been sacrificing babies to Cthulhu enough.
Well, no, see, here's what happened. They hit us with a true pronged attack this time. Because, one, you got sick on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And the laptop that I usually use so the setup has completely changed around here for recording. See, what used to happen was I would use the laptop to run the Google Hangout, and then I'd have this entire mess of like cords and 2 mixers to go to the desktop computer, which I recorded on. But for some reason, my laptop's fan decided to make just about the 4th or 5th most god-awful, obnoxious noise known to man. And so we can't have that on the podcast. So I decided what I was trying to do was trying to use the other laptop to record. And that didn't happen. So the next day I went out and spent a non-trivial sum of money on a digital recorder, and now that's what's recording the podcast. So it was a two-pronged attack of both K-God's getting sick and my equipment messing up. But what they didn't think of was, one, people have immune systems, and two, I have money now.
Right. Well, you know what they say, NTR will never die.
See, here's the thing. So they're trying to make up for past neglect, because you realize how many missteps they made that ended up with NTR Radio even existing. I mean, number one, why'd I hold up 3 fingers? Number one, we were
live in character.
We were permitted to have microphones and internet connection in the first place.
Yeah, so you done goofed.
You never let me get a microphone, because
that's not gonna be good.
So we were able to get microphones. We were permitted to be on Google. We were permitted to be on Skype for that entire period of time. It's a series of missteps, and now they're trying to run damage control. Now we're too powerful to be stopped.
Yeah, it's kind of like
can't stop. We're just a podcast. Can't stop.
It's kind of like the tentacle monster, in the sense that
Only cool people know that.
What?
Yeah. No.
Only the cool people know about the tentacle monsters?
No. What I was singing.
Oh, I was gonna say, interesting, but no.
I'm surprised you didn't get what I was referencing.
People know what they're people know what's going on. It's just that, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, exactly.
You had an interesting evening last night, Anubis.
Oh yeah, so I was on the Baka Gaijin show, which I basically took over half that podcast.
Yeah, things got pretty
heated.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, if you want to know what happened, you can go listen to that show.
Shit was said that needed to be said. That I'm glad it resolved itself.
So, like, to me, the theme of that show was what I kept on requoting is, like, it's valuable to be clear in what you're saying, and it's not valuable to be unclear in what you're saying. So that ended up being almost like the better part of 3 3/4 of an hours, with me trying to get people to understand that, and then going into various topics throughout that.
Mm.
So if people want to hear what happened, they can listen to that podcast. I won't take their listenership by airing out everything that was said on that podcast. You can go listen to it. Highly recommend it.
This episode is not the Cliff Notes version for another show.
Exactly.
that would be completely fucking pointless.
So, anyone watching stuff?
Of course.
Caught up on Bakuan and High Fury.
Right. I started. I didn't just start. I've been also watching Mahoromatic, which is fun.
I never seen Mahoromatic. I know of it, but I just never.
It's pretty entertaining. And of course, Witch Hunter Robin, which is just for fun. More than anything else.
Nothing from this season?
Yeah, I've actually got a couple of those lined up, which is Bakuan and High Fury, and maybe something else. I'm just kind of tinkering around.
I would recommend either Anne Happy or... well, here's the thing, okay, about Sanya Sancho. To me, watching that, it's a 3-star, 3 out of 5 show, like, humor-wise, because I really want it to be funnier. what bumps it an extra star to 4 is really the production values.
I see.
Because it's Doga Kobo, and there's a lot of like fluid animation at times, and clearly having fun with it. I just wish the material was a little funnier, but I'm still watching it. And
Right.
I also like the character Futabo whenever she's just eating like crazy. Yeah, that's it. She's always like eating like crazy amounts of food. And Happy is funny. It's Silverlink and it's Shinonoma directing. It's kind of a cringe comedy because everyone has bad luck.
Oh, okay. Cringe
And remember, also Silverlink and Shinonoma directed Watamote.
Oh, okay.
That kind of tells you a little bit
Mhm.
of the type of show. Not as like depressingly real as that show is, even though that was a comedy too. But it's still like kind of, especially the one girl who's kind of what I would say is my waifu of the season, Botan. Think Miyuki from Lucky Star, but she's always in ill health. Her bones are always breaking.
Ouch.
Yeah, literally. Like, she stubbed her toe, and it's like, you hear like, or when they're shaking her hand, and you hear like, yes, just like when Otto
When
fell.
Otto just completely fucks up his back.
Yeah, the shoulder. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
That is like one of the most horrifying like sound effects I can think of. And it was great because in the commentary, yeah, I know I'm a fucking dork. I watch commentaries. They were saying that at first they were just toying with the sound effects on that, and they said the more realistic it sounded, the funnier it was. And I'm like, that makes us sound like completely horrible people as a species. Yeah, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, what else? I'm watching Bakuan. I gotta say, it's not like I was hoping for like almost, but maybe because it was a number of years from when I discovered the manga to now, but I was kind of hoping it to be like K-On! Level in a way. Not that again, I shouldn't compare one show to another just because of what I think.
We had an entire whole thing about that on the
Yeah.
show.
Yes. It's I'm still watching it, enjoyable. It's just not the strongest show of the season for me.
But hey, if you ever need your bike washed,
Yeah. Kumi Miko is pretty amusing too. That's the one with the bear. And
okay.
the loli, and I love the fact that the bear is so much more worldly than the girl. She's not stupid, but she's kind of naive to like how the real world is because she's in the country. So she just doesn't knows like how things in the more populous areas are. So it's amusing. But my favorite show of the season is actually the short Panda piece.
I honestly want to watch the two new trigger things, the short and
the short and Kiziver.
Kiziver, yeah.
Tried Space Patrol Lulushan.
I saw an episode of that.
I couldn't get into it.
Neither.
I'll give it a look though.
I think it was Zeke Freak from the Bakugaijin show. No, I think it was Kevin actually described it as Inferno Cop meets like a cross between Inferno Cop and Kill la Kill, the whole visual style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's accurate, and that's exactly why I didn't like it.
Ouch.
Okay,
well, anyway, I'm going to try a couple extra things here.
Yeah, I'm behind on Double Zeta though.
Well, you can always buy it.
How much?
All behind on Double Zeta. since like it aired in the 80s.
How much do I have left? Let me see. I am at 31. I am at
Okay,
episode 31.
so you're balls deep into it.
Yeah, I got about 20 episodes. The suits that I'm like waiting to see haven't shown up yet. A lot of the suits that I want to see just have not showed up yet. It's like all that crazy cool shit, like the full armor Z, double Zeta, and the Queen Mantha and all that. That hasn't been shown yet.
Like at the very end.
Yeah, or the Gym 3. The GM3,
yeah.
Gym 3.
Right. Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah. Like, all that stuff hasn't shown up. The dressing has shown up, which is, like, the best variant of the Dom, in my opinion.
I still prefer the Dodge. That said, I've always been more particular to land-based mobile suits in general.
Mm.
It also occurs to me that I haven't told people how to join us in the IRC. Here's what you do. Go to she's also control.net/podcast. In the upper right, you'll find the chat link. Click that. That'll take you to a chat client. Give yourself a nickname and join us in the IRC. Alternatively, point your favorite IRC client to irc.ryzen.net and join us in channel # SLC Media. And as always, you can get at us on Twitter at TEAnubis, at LazyErica00, at VZMK2, and at the email address ntrradio@gmail.com.
I made a new video this week. Really funny. If you like strike witches, you'll really get a kick out of this one.
Yep.
Right. I've been going through the Dragon Quest games for the NES, and I'm going to have to point this out. Just a little bit of a thing. If you do not put your message speed on fast, you are not going to have fun. Because it is a text-based battles and stuff, and it will take forever.
See, here's the thing about Dragon Quest for me. I never played the games, but I used to wake up really early. I had it been 7 or so. I used to wake up really early because they showed the Dragon Quest, or they changed the name to Dragon Warrior.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that there was a Nintendo game out at the time. I didn't even know it was anime. This is one of those examples of watching something that was anime. I didn't know it was anime. It just, cool adventure cartoon.
Well, it was back in the day like I was watching Speed Racer.
I was just going to mention Speed Racer.
Because it was Saturday morning, it was really... They only did, like, I think, like, from waiting, they only did... I think they only did 13 out of whatever the entire show was. So clearly it wasn't popular to but watching like looking at the pics of the characters and then like seeing it's like totally Toriyama.
Yeah, well, you know, he did all the designs for that franchise.
Yeah, I mean the main character looks a lot like Goku. There's a character that looks like Master Roshi.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at Chrono Trigger, the same deal.
There's one that's a lot like Bulma. Only in this show they were like, whenever they defeated a monster, they turned it to jewels. So she was like obsessed with like getting jewels.
Just like a girl who wants jewelry. Okay, I'm gonna get hate mail for that one.
Women want jewelry? That's sexist.
That's
triggering.
That's what do you call that? I'm so done with all this stupid shit that I can't even remember the term.
Yeah, exactly.
Patriarchal.
Well, that too, but
Keep your hate speech off the podcast. Keep your hate speech off the podcast. Keep your hate speech off the podcast.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for your Trigglypuff imitation. So then, what have you
I
been?
can smell the pee. I can smell the pee when I watch that video.
You can smell the pee.
The
You know,
pee and the bo.
you know what? I don't want to know. I was about to ask, but you know what? Decided, you know what? It's a bad idea. I shouldn't ask questions I don't want the answer to. And I realized that I don't want the answer to whatever question I was about to ask right then.
I mean, if you'd have said like, yeah, I mean the BO, I would have got that because it's like that basically is an arm guard commercial. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, flapping your arms isn't gonna make you fly there, Chief.
Feminism is cancer. Thank you very much.
Okay. So Anubis, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
Well, I watched High Fury. I caught up on High Fury, caught up on Bakugan. I was gonna talk about this. I don't even know if it's been so long since the last podcasted. I don't know if the last podcast I even had this thing, but I got the new.
You mentioned it. I don't think you showed it off. Yeah.
So I got the new Alter Charlotte. Absolutely beautiful figure. Was on the turntable back there, but I put Toilet Chan there before because it's more appropriate for NTR Radio.
Yeah. See, you have your strike, which is waifu. I have mine coming in June.
Indeed.
In Netherite form, and your least favorite.
Yeah, I think she's a bitch, but just saying.
But yeah, that's about it. Other than getting the new recording set up, that's basically what I've been doing.
Huh. Well, besides appearing, besides taking over other people's podcasts.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah, you got to usurp it, you know.
I gotta claim territory.
Shit, yeah.
I'm gonna build an empire.
Yeah, it's like when the dog's peeing on the tree, you know. It's just like, hey, this is my area. I gotta warn the other dogs, you know. Anyhow, so I mean, has anybody been preparing for any cons or anything?
Not me, because the only con I go to is Comic-Con, and I'm not going this year. So.
Yeah, Connecticut is about 2 months out. Quite honestly, they've been kind of fucking up, and like if I hadn't already planned on going to AX next year, I have to seriously consider whether or not I'm going to ConnectiCon 2018, because like they've taken a very long time to put panel submissions up to the point where like I don't even feel like submitting panels anymore, because they've taken so long getting panel submissions up, and meanwhile they're announcing all these guests on guests, and to me it's like, okay, I get that it's guests and all that, and people are excited for that, but I really do not go to conventions for guests. Like, guests are a secondary or tertiary thing for me as far as conventions go. So I'm not gonna really care what guests they have. The only guests in the multitude of guests they've announced, the only guests they've announced that I'm really pumped for is Johnny Young Bosch, and that's because I want to get him to sign the Zero mask. But that's it.
Not the Power Rangers mask.
As far as that goes, yeah, I mean, it's something that can be entertaining when you're there, but you know, we all know the real reason we go to cons, you know.
Yeah, but so I'm looking at it, and it's like, well, you're announcing all these guests. What about the multitude of very talented people that give your panel content, give you panel content every year? Like, shouldn't it be a priority to accommodate those people in addition to doing all these guests and stuff? So, to me, it's kind of alienating that they've taken this long, and then I have friends who have submitted panels, and they haven't heard back about their panels. As one of my friends, her panel is like time sensitive. Like she needs to prepare it ahead of time, and the closer we get to the convention without any confirmation, it becomes a toss-up as to whether she's even going to go or not. So it's like, what are you doing? To me, to a certain extent, I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to be more like a Comic-Con sort of thing, which is going to completely turn me off, because anything with the word Comic-Con attached to it, I'm generally speaking kind of pushed away from, just because I don't like that kind of atmosphere and that kind of vibe. But if that's what they're doing, I mean, more power to them. I hope it's successful for them. I don't think it's going to be, but I hope for the best.
Yeah.
I'm still going this year because at this point I'm obligated to go, but I'm going to go there. I'm going to get my content for She's Lost Control. You're going to get their con report on NTR Radio, and then it's going to be, am I going in 2019?
Right, I gotcha. Well, I'll be going to AX, so anybody that's there that wants to harass me, well, I'll be there.
Is that June or July?
End of June, June 30th.
That'll be some interesting. There'll be some interesting, like after podcast story fodder.
Oh yeah. What's going to be real interesting is the sheer amount of protesters that are going to be there. Because you have your typical religious nuts that are there like for everything, out there every weekend, because people having fun is wrong, and two, I have a feeling you might be seeing more like anti-Trump yelling and shit, perhaps. You're a
fucking white male. Tell me something I don't know.
Yes, very observant of you.
Have you looked in the mirror?
I mean, that on that subject, I actually saw a video maybe a couple months ago. It wasn't all that long ago. And like, say what you want about the guy, but I got respect for what he did. See that video where Vic Mignogna like called out all the freaking Christian protesters out of one convention?
No. I have not seen that.
Yeah, say what you want about the guy, but I got respect for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was funny because last time I was at AX which was 2013, just so everybody remembers. I wasn't really used to that, that atmosphere.
Right.
And so when I went out there, there's like at least 6 or 7 prominent people with these giant fucking "you're going to hell" basic signs.
You're going to hell for liking anime.
No, it wasn't that specific.
Oh, alright.
I don't even think these people knew what was going on, to be honest. I think they show up there every weekend for anything that's going on at the an entertainment venue.
Yeah.
We need something to hate.
Basically, yeah. And they looked like stereotypical these ass wipes too.
Yeah.
Quoting Bible verses and this and this and that. I fully expected somebody to be like with a giant fucking megaphone, just like yelling stuff. In any case, it was kind of interesting because I wasn't really prepared or just never saw it coming. The one guy was like, "Are these people always here?" He's like, "Oh yeah, they're here every weekend for pretty much everything under the sun." Yep. So it should be interesting though. I mean, I'm going with a handful of friends, and the guest list is still kind of low, so I don't really know who's going to be there.
Right.
I mean, the thing is they announced 7 so far, but 4 of them are cosplayers. You know what I mean? Or like part of the cosplay industry.
I got respect for cosplayers and all that, but like, you were gonna be at this con anyway. Don't even lie. Like, it don't sound like you're being like, I guess I'll no. Anime Expo. You were gonna be at Anime Expo anyway. It doesn't matter whether they're paying for you to be there or not. Are you kidding me?
So I found that very entertaining. But unfortunately, that's who else was there?
I need to get cost famous then. Damn. Black Zero. Here we go.
Yeah. But we have Yoshitaka Amano, Final Fantasy designer, which is probably the most interesting one they've announced for me thus far. What can I say? Old fan that I am. But yeah, that's gonna be good. And again, it's in fairly close proximity to Anubis's con, so it might be one of those things where we both just talk about each one.
It'll basically be a double NTR radio.
Yeah, double NTR. That sounds really wrong.
There's a doujin out there somewhere with double NTR. I guarantee it.
It's like when you do a double blind experiment, except it sucks. Literally.
See, I got tired of doing Comic-Con because I can't go to the panels because the lines, you have to be there the entire day to get into a line. And you know that I only go one day for that. Also, because I have to travel to the city. And also, the stuff that I get, I could just get online and probably much cheaper. So there really isn't the incentive for me to go. Maybe in a couple years.
Comic-Con before I even went to Comic-Con.
Maybe in a couple years I'll go back again, but for now I'm kind of not feeling the need to go.
I just don't like I'm not a fan of that kind of, because I feel
I know industry con.
Yeah, the big industry con where like half the reason people go there is because they're announcing stuff that you're gonna hear on the internet in 30 seconds afterwards anyway.
And they might touch Stan Lee's arm.
Yeah, like it's like I'm there to have a good time with people. I'm there to go to and host panels. I'm there to buy some stuff. I'm there to have a good time, like interacting with other people.
Taking pictures of cosplayers.
Taking pictures of cosplayers, all that kind of stuff. And I don't feel like I could really do that at that crowded and that like industry-driven an event.
Oh, okay. We got. Speaking of cosplayers, professional cosplayers, we have a quote here. Honestly, I think it'd be funny if someone made a jerking off gesture towards them, just to irk them. Interesting.
Cosplay is not consent.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Some common sense is pretty much needed here.
So the things people will like get into a con for free with is like people. I've heard of people getting into cons as press when they're just there to photograph cosplayers, and I'm like, I used to do that when I was there, paying to go in. Obviously, I'm an idiot because I could have gone in there. Hey, here's my camera. Let me get a free pass to this convention. It's weird. I think conventions are wasting a whole lot of money because because this whole thing is geek culture, people throw their standards out. So you don't expect a business to act like a business because it's geek culture, and for some reason whenever we're talking about geek culture, everyone goes back to 12 years old instead of adults running businesses.
Give me my Micro Machines and Legos.
Yeah, it's like are we gonna accept subpar performance now? Apparently the answer is yes, because it's geek culture.
By the way, correction, that comment wasn't about cosplayers. It was actually aimed at religious protesters.
Okay.
Which I thought it was funnier thinking the other way. Yeah, I know. Me just being me here. All right, then. I think that's going to be the first segment, I think.
That is the first segment. We're up against the break. We will do some Moe Jazz. Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
Moe Jazz.
Now for the smooth sounds of Charles Mingus.
I like some Coltrane before he got clean. Yeah, no junk, no soul.
Cecil Taylor.
Okay, I will return.
Solid copy. Speaking of jazz, whatever happened to those kids on the slope?
Well, the anime came out, and a whole lot of people were pumped for it. Then the anime ended, and then no one was talking about it. So
Seriously, I haven't heard it mentioned outside of us since.
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem.
Which is really weird.
At this point, I can even count it as weird. It would be weird if that didn't happen. So as you know, past performance is always an indicator of future results.
So does that mean Bill's going to continue to do his shenanigans if he's in the White House?
Probably.
Hi, Monica. Speaking of that, I've seen some pictures of him recently. He does not look good. Like, seriously, he it's not that he's just old. I mean, he looks pretty rough. I guess all that DDR takes a lot out of you. Adjust your ears to the smooth sounds of Moe Jazz. fuck is that?
Hey, Anubis.
Yo.
Did you ever hear of a game since you had the Jaguar when you were growing up, did you ever hear of a game called Attack of the Mutant Penguins?
No.
No.
I thought for a minute I was gonna say, didn't he have all the games on the Jaguar?
I had all 3 games that ever came out for the Atari Jaguar.
There was more than that, but yeah. I don't know how many they were. Now I gotta look. Now I want to know.
Well, at least you can actually play the Jaguar, unlike the Virtual Boy, which just made you feel like you were dying.
Gonna make you go blind and throw up simultaneously.
It's like that. It's like the audiovisual psychological warfare, like where they do stuff to make you nauseated.
Game library. List of Atari. There was also the Jaguar CD.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
There was a decent amount here. Not a lot. Like considering it wasn't a successful console, but it just couldn't distinguish itself from it just didn't look any again because it promised to be 64-bit.
That and its controller was god awful.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like a number of other things that didn't quite do it here, like the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah, well, that was the thing about that in Japan, which was called the PC Engine.
PC Engine, yeah.
That was actually quite popular over there.
Yeah, but that's why I said here.
Yeah, here. Well, that was because it was kind of sandwiched in between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. So I guess the market didn't need a third console like that.
Right. Then again, there were numerous ones that were popular in Japan that never got popular here to an extent, like the Saturn.
Yep.
Yeah, the Saturn. Also the, because it never came out here, the Wonder Swan, or Wonder Swan Color.
And then you had the stuff that was just kind of like 3DO.
Yeah.
And of course, all the accessories that Sega were putting out, like the 32X.
And Sega CD, which it's like, other than, well, there were a couple other ones, but the big one for Sega CD was Sonic.
Yeah.
That was a big one. There were some other ones.
I know they ported Mortal Kombat on there too, I believe.
Yeah, and I heard it had terrible loading times.
Yeah, and who the fuck wants to play a fighting game with terrible loading times?
Yeah.
That's not good when you're playing that type of thing.
Yeah. Attack of the Mutant Penguins is an action video game developed by Sunrise Games and published by Atari for Jaguar in 1995. Yeah, what?
Good. Now it's time for good idea, bad idea. Good idea, developing video games. Bad idea, developing this video game.
Developing video games for the Jaguar.
Basically. Ready on second segment.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio.
Hi, I'm on the internet.
So, is Moé dead? Is Moé Killing Anime?
Yes, it's already dead.
Yes.
Move along. That's the show.
Been dead since 1990.
If you've been in the scene for a while, you know that in 2002, Bible Black already had killed it anyway.
Yeah.
Lucky Star invented Moe. After Lucky Star.
Or Haruhi, depending on your personality.
Yeah.
This entire stretch of time between 2005 and 2008, where the Moe boom was supposedly happening. So there's a very clear line. We know it's a clear line, but we're unclear about where that line is.
Well, obviously it was Apate.
Of course.
Yeah, because
There was a time before Apate.
And of course, now we're living in that post-Upate world. For those who don't know, did we ever explain that?
That's a throwback to was it?
Yeah, it was Zach.
Was it 2011?
No, 2012.
2012. Yeah, it was 2012 when they were doing the preview guide for Apate, and the quote, and it was, all we know is that there's time before Apate, there's time after Apate, which is like the reaction to Apate was so hyperbolic. Like
it was especially
that was somehow the weirdest thing they've seen out of anime at that point in time. Like,
which
Apate was like way out there as far as weird things go in anime.
And if you think so, you haven't watched enough anime.
Real talk.
I mean, seriously. Like, I can think of stuff from the 80s that's weirder than that.
Yeah. To think that Apate is like the weirdest concept of anime, despite being, I mean, there's other things far more, like, how did they come up, like, how did they think this up? Because really, if you know the Mecha Musume thing, or not Mecha Musume, Moe anthropomorphization, guns as girls isn't really that far off of a idea.
It's been a thing for years.
I just like the fact that this show, this fairly innocuous show, is like the paradigm that changed anime. I mean, what the fuck? It's one thing not to like said show. It's another to give it more importance than it really has.
Yeah, exactly. I'm real big on Apate, but let's be real here. It's Apate.
It's not shipping like millions of units and that sort of thing.
We're not talking Haruhi, we're not talking Clannad, we're not even talking Cowboy Bebop. The post-Apate world.
Yeah. Unfortunately, due to the way the syllables flow, I can't make the joke that I was going to make there. I was going to sing "Living in a Pate World," making fun of Barbie Girl.
Living in a Pate world, yeah,
exactly.
Tons of girls,
yeah.
Not like girls in pants, yeah.
I'll mercifully not do that. Nobody wants to hear that shit. I don't want to hear the regular song.
So, want to hear when Bill Clinton sings it?
No.
Oh, yeah.
So this entire topic was inspired by a YouTube video between Gaijin Guma and Aki Dearest.
Yeah, I don't think I want to watch that.
It's actually, like, the video is actually not bad, but only because Aki Dearest is the voice of reason. Like, Gaijin Guma is going on about how all this stuff, and like the topic isn't really is Moé killing anime. They just put that as the title, so it would be a sort of clickbait sort of thing. But he's going on his whole thing that he goes on with every video when he's talking about this kind of stuff. Oh, it's unhealthy for people because his entire frame is I've been there, man.
I've been in the depths of
Japan for a while, and he had a moment of weakness where he was really indulging in this kind of stuff, and he came out of that, and as a result, he attributes that to not to him having a moment of weakness, but suddenly Moe is now evil.
You go on the show Intervention.
Yeah, like you're being taken to like a room and you don't know what's going on. They like blindfold you. And then they open the thing, sir or son, we've got a problem, or you've got a problem. You're buying all these figures. You're spending tons of money on scantily clad posters. Yeah.
You carry your pillow all around.
That was his whole thing. And like Akideris is, a normal anime fan who watches things she enjoys and doesn't watch things she doesn't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So her whole thing is, yeah, there's a lot of moe anime, but there's also a lot of other stuff as well, and you can just watch the other stuff.
Thank you.
Well, it all comes down to, oh, I don't like this. No one else should be able to like it.
Exactly.
Which to me just reeks of some like extreme narcissism.
It comes down to, I don't like this. Nobody else should like it. But he can't come out and say that. So it has to portray moe as deficient in some kind of manner in order to justify trying to take that away from people.
Well, yeah, it reminds. I mean, okay, more than anything else, it reminds me of when you had like people like the PMRC coming into the picture and being like, this music's not good, or this stuff is endangering the health of minors. We need it because a lot of people don't realize that they originally wanted to just outright ban the shit. They ended up compromising and putting the stickers on there. So, that was a last-ditch effort, So it kind of reminds me of that in the sense that, hey, don't like XYZ, XYZ shouldn't exist.
Yeah, and so we get to, is Moé killing anime? Which is a dumb question to be asking to begin with, but it's even dumber when you consider like where anime has gone and what it took to get from there to here, and all the different kinds of stuff that went into even some of the like classic anime that people really remember still has a lot of cute girls in it. So
always did for the most part.
That's an article in the May issue of Nyan the magazine. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go get it.
I mean, unless you don't think Lum's cute.
But that's just proto-moe.
Proto-moe.
Yeah, it's so like the entire point of all this is Moé killing anime, or the whole proto-moe thing, is they can't be clear in what they're saying, because if they were very clear in what they're saying, it would sound stupid. So they have to obfuscate it in this whole, okay, moe is somehow, they have to portray moe as somehow deficient, and then they have to go back in time, because if they do that, they're going to erase all the stuff that they actually like. So they have to go back and say, oh, this stuff is proto-moe.
Well, another thing, kind of speaking of all that, or at least it's what I took out of it, was, well, again, the phrase just makes me wince a little bit, to be honest. Proto-moe, well, that does kind of reek of historical revisionism, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, this stuff doesn't count.
Also,
why not?
It's
Sandro asks in the IRC, what does proto-moe even mean? Proto-moe is a made-up term used to refer to any cute girl in anime that came before a very clear line that is unclear in time. So it's
no, it's clear. It's pate.
Before any cute anime girl before a certain point between 2005 and 2008 is proto-moe.
Yeah.
So like LPO Peru, proto-moe. Shampoo Rama 1/2, proto-moe. Lum Invader, proto-moe.
But
Yeah,
see, they would also argue, because Drongar also says even Gundam of all thing has cute females in it. But see, they would argue that that's not Moe because it's in a mecha show, or for some of the characters they pilot mecha.
Oh no,
So it's not.
there's people out there talking about mecha shows, talking about. Remember people bitching about Macross Frontier?
Yes.
yes.
People are bitching about Macross Delta for that, but they don't remember. They don't remember love.
They don't remember love.
I think we got our title.
Yes,
They don't remember. They don't remember love. Yes. Well, it reminds me of Code Geass to an extent because people bitched about that too. About it having kind of that quality to it. Although I think that's a little more in retrospect, simply for the fact that it came out around the same time the quote-unquote Moe boom was in swing.
Well, remember there was some people who were like, this stuff's infecting the stuff that I'm into.
Yes.
As if it hadn't already.
Yeah.
As if Gunbuster never made it.
Yes. Nobody ever fawned over Oscar or Ray.
It's like here's a quote from the Neon the Magazine article. Okay. Macross Frontier's Ronka Lee is Moe, but Lin Minmei, the SDF Macross character Ronka is directly based on, is Proto-Moe. The difference? Macross Frontier was created after an arbitrary point in time, somewhere between 2003 and 2008. Somewhere in there lies a clear line of demarcation marking the Moe boom and the beginning of the Moe era. It's all a whole bunch of made-up terms.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole thing always struck me as just kind of in many ways it always struck me as a kind of convenient term. If nothing else, just say, hey, this stuff is bad, and they almost use it as an excuse for people they don't like.
Well, here's the thing, because Moe didn't come into the modern vernacular until a certain point in time, and they pretend that it didn't exist because it wasn't like a word until then, when they don't understand that it's a concept.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't work like that because it's a concept. It's like whether the word exists or not, the concept still did.
Exactly.
I mean, you know,
like do these people think that before human beings came up with a word for the color red, nothing was ever red?
Red? Yeah, exactly. Or although, to be fair, for a little piece of amusing trivia, in numerous Asian cultures, blue and green were the same color for a while.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that. Which I find that kind of interesting, actually.
It's the reason in some anime you see on traffic signals the one that's supposed to be green is actually blue.
Yep. Or it kind of is in between a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. And you know, I guess the smart. I can't believe I'm saying this. The somewhat artsy smartsy side of me kind of finds that intriguing.
It's wonderfully fascinating, but at the same time, it's like, understand that concepts exist whether we have words for them or not.
Well, it's like evolution. It's like whether you believe in it or not.
We don't believe in evolution.
Well, no, it's like space. Like, do you think that brown dwarves didn't exist until we came up with a name for them?
Yeah, or planets or whatever.
That was the case. Let's just erase all the names we have for bad stuff, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, there's no such thing as murder. Suddenly, yeah, it'll be just like those commercials for a certain car insurance thing. You know, where they just say, like, blah, 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 and then they appear.
Yeah, because words have power like that.
Like they did. If they
appear and disappear based on whether we have words for them or not.
If they did, I don't know. I think our world would be more fucked up than it actually is already. because people would definitely take advantage of that.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be like Death Note, but like everyone has a Death Note now.
Yeah, which that would not end well. I mean, it doesn't end well when one person has one. Imagine everybody having one.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone would be like just on edge, being the most polite.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't like this person's face.
It'd be like that Twilight Zone with the kid that.
I didn't get what I wanted for Christmas.
Oh, writing your name.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, the concepts has existed just about as long as anime has existed. And what I don't get is a whole lot of these people, they present themselves as so experienced with the medium, so worldly, so well educated about anime, but like compared to that, I'm an idiot. And then I read the Moe Manifesto, and that contradicts basically everyone, what all of these people have been saying about Moe. So I'm like, okay, if I can go and read that book and get educated on the subject from that, what's going on here?
Remember all the shit.
Now I understand I'm being lied to.
Well, I was gonna say it's just narrative. That's all it is.
Remember the shit when they were reviewing that book on ANN, and then like they had to like close that thread.
Here's the thing. That what the discussion ended up focusing on was, I think that these people forming relationships with 2D characters is selfish and unhealthy. And regardless of people coming up to me and explaining the reasoning behind that, and that this isn't really a thing people choose to do, it's a thing people are pushed toward doing because of the culture and the way the culture pressures them to do one thing or the other, that it's understandable that they would go down that route. And they say, no, it's selfish and it's selfish and unhealthy. So it's like, okay, obviously, it's such a minuscule part of that entire book.
Yeah.
It easily missed, very easily missed. So they decided, I'll take the one part of this book that I can reasonably portray as unhealthy, and harp on that instead of talking about all the stuff that they're talking about on this book that actually contradicts all the points that I've been making for years.
Well, like I said, it's far more about pushing a narrative.
Absolutely. It's this thing. Either you're stupid or you're lying.
And I love, like, they always bring up the fucking Dakimakuras. That, like, every Moe fan carries Dakimakuras. Not just, like, owns them, but they carry them all around.
Yeah, because how many times have you seen that? Just, like, how many times have you been at the local, I don't know, grocery store or place of eating at a restaurant or whatever, and somebody walks in with one? I'll wait.
Exactly.
You know.
But
no, the internet does not count.
It's this whole thing with, for some reason, they can't be intellectually honest when talking about Moe. So
I think that's because they would have to recognize it in a way that's uncomfortable to them.
Bingo. So that's where we get is Moe Killing Anime, because if this was the 70s and we were 1-to-1 with the Japanese anime industry like we are today, and there was a whole lot of super robot shows coming out, would they be saying our super robot show is killing anime? The answer to that question is yes.
Well, the difference is because it's about, female stuff, I guess they see it as sexist today, whereas the other thing is like, oh, it's robots, so it's okay. Although Well, they might complain about like, oh, the commercial aspect of the Super Robot shows. So, you know.
I don't think
It's anime.
I don't think they would complain about that as much as they complain about Moe. I don't think it would be our Super Robot shows killing anime in the 70s.
No, it wouldn't be that.
Robot shows killing anime in the 80s.
No, it wouldn't be that level.
So people try to portray it as, oh, there's just a whole lot of this stuff and it's crowding out other stuff, but that's not the case, because I genuinely don't believe that they'd be saying the same thing about stuff that they actually like.
Right.
Yeah. And despite what some people thinking is, well, first off, the definition of a Moe show is kind of, you know,
There's no such thing. It's not.
No, it's lumped in little tropes and things that they don't like. Like you know, oh, harems and things like this.
Definition of Moe show is anything these people want as long as they don't like it.
Right. It's just kind of a catch-all.
You can't you can't say Moe anime like you say mecha anime, because what is a Moe anime?
Now, the thing is because of this, though, when somebody says that, I know what they're talking about, because it's been used so much. Like, when someone says Moe anime, I got an idea.
It gives you a general idea, but it's not specific enough like a genre, and they use it like a genre.
You know, speaking of Moé Killing Anime, again, you know, it's dead. Moe doesn't have to be your audience. Moe is over. Yes. Yeah, it's interesting to me because I was in fandom and watching this stuff before the term actually got any real gravity to it. So when it came along, I was like, what are these fucking people talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like my first real exposure to the whole Moe debate was that one issue of Otaku USA where they did this whole thing where they had known as Wild Arms Hero back then. They had him, they had Clarissa, they had Daryl Surratt, they had two other people all writing these articles about Moe. And I'm reading this thing, and like 4 out of the 5 articles are just heavily negative on Moe. But I'm reading this thing and it's like, okay, I'll watch some of these shows, and I don't think that they're evil like a lot of these people are thinking. I don't think that they're like destroying the otaku culture like one person asserted.
Destroying the otaku culture.
Like, his whole thing was, before Moe, you had to like be knowledgeable to be an otaku.
Okay, so this is just butthurt. This is just butthurt over their club their club not being exclusive anymore.
He's like
I want my tape trading. I want to go back to tape trading.
Yeah,
Daisy chain tapes where it's like and
laser discs are awesome.
Your tape is like the 9th generation like tape over.
I know what that is.
Yeah. And you'd be lucky if you get subtitles, because I was actually in the very, very tail end of that tape. Well, I didn't trade, but I bought tapes of like stuff like Japanese Transformers and Gal Gaigar and Super Sentai. So that very tail end, I guess, in the 90s, and near the end of the 90s, that tail end of the tape trading era. So I kind of have an inkling of what it was about, but I wasn't knee deep in it like a lot of other people were.
Wait, it's the whole thing like Toshio Okada, who declared he was the Ota King, like he was big man on campus in the otaku community until 2008, where he said, "Yeah, otaku is dead," and then threw his hands up and left. Because like otaku had changed in his perspective. When, hilariously enough, this is the dude who 20 years earlier did Gunbuster. Years after that did Otaku no Video. So it's like it hasn't really changed. The focus is different, maybe, but he sort of contributed to that with the stuff he worked on.
Well, not only that, but the thing is no matter what medium you're into, it naturally shifts and moves around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not stagnant. So to me, that's kind of strange. In the sense, like, it's almost like people expect it not to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Which, do you know anything that does that?
Well, the problem is, until a few years ago, we had to wait to get anything out of the anime industry, and now we're 1-to-1, and we happen to catch up in a Moe heavy era. So now, not only are we 1-to-1, but we're also basically getting every single anime that ever comes out. So it gives the illusion of there's just a whole lot of Moe out right now, when in reality, there was a whole lot of mid-level stuff throughout anime, but we didn't see a whole lot of it. And even if we did, we had to wait on that, so it took a while to even get here for us to even know about it.
Right. I mean, I understand, and I also even understand to an extent the days where, you know, I don't know. Here's something that I don't quite understand. The people that kind of that romanticize some of these older generations, when if you go back and read stuff from back then, there's plenty of people just completely shitting on this stuff. Just like MD Geist or something like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, like, oh, people go back now and are like, oh, I didn't know what we had. Like, kind of thing, you know. It's just like, what? It's like, I remember when you were bitching about this.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, to a certain
I scanned that Flux magazine article that I was pointing out the ones that were like.
to be fair, Flux wasn't really an anime magazine.
Nah, I know, but it was just the review of the majority of the anime that was released on VHS at that time, and and I was pointing out like the negative reviews as to like show like saying in a lot of ways nothing has changed.
Drawing Girl makes the point in the IRC that I was just about to make. I don't think, to a certain extent, I don't think these people know what they really want.
Yeah, I mean, which brings me to, this all ties in with something else that,
like, when you complain about anime, you complain about Moe, and you're talking about, oh, it's unhealthy, and people get into these relationships with the characters and they use it as a crush. And it's like, okay, what do you want then?
Yeah. What do you want?
What would make you happy?
well, I just find it funny that
Not the fact that you're taking away the happiness from a lot of other people. What would make you happy? Because what we need to be concerned about is making you happy, even though a whole market of people are happy with where anime is right now.
well, and speaking of taking pot shots at Japanese culture, if you will, I find it really funny that people in a country where you can smoke in a hospital, this is what people are whining about in terms about health. There's just something funny about that to me.
Because Moe is the reason, specifically the reason.
Yeah, Moe's the reason they smoke in the hospital.
No, Moe is the reason why the population is going down. Specifically Moe. Like
Moe is the Gamergate of Japan.
But it's like, yeah, Japan has problems, but
All countries do.
Nobody is concerned with really addressing what those problems are, as much as they are concerned with either, one, portraying their pet issue as the entire problem that's going on in Japan, or two, just looking at Japan from a Japan is really weird standpoint.
I hate that, by the way.
Yeah, and then going off of that, because that's going to get you clicks from people.
Yeah, I hate it whenever Monday Matt says, like, Japanese, they're just so different from us.
Well, to be fair, part of that is his format.
I know he's a clickbait guy.
It's not even a clickbait thing. It's more of a 24-hour news thing.
Yeah.
You got to put out videos on the daily, so he can't just roll up and say, I got nothing. You got to find something. And I can't fault him on that, but what I will fault him on is not what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just find that whole Japan is so weird angle to be kind of obnoxious at this point. I mean, because it's one of the only countries you see them do it with.
Yeah.
Like nobody goes, oh, Ireland's pretty strange.
Like
with all their potatoes and.
Even though K-pop is big right now, nobody's talking about like Korea.
That's because they might have to actually talk about North Korea, and
it's K-pop and esports, and that's all anyone knows about Korea. But as soon as we start getting anime out of Japan, all this whole thing's we got the Young Turks going on about how Japan's really weird. You got Gaijin Goomba, who really should be telling the truth about Japan, but isn't.
I love how like the Young Turks talks like something about Japan, but they never offer about like the population, but they never offer they never actually get into the more particulars.
That's because they're not interested in doing that.
It's clickbait.
Or the solution as to.
If they were to get into the particulars or get into the solution,
they wouldn't have a story.
They might know. It's not even they wouldn't have a story. They might have to say something that doesn't jive with their agenda.
Then they had that the guy that's black on there. He's kind of like, I don't know what his job is, but he's like the guy on the side that does commentary.
I wouldn't know. I don't make a habit of watching the Young Turks.
I don't watch it that often either. But
yeah,
anyway,
I have taste. Thank you.
He literally thinks. I think he literally thinks that there's something in computers beaming out to you that's, making you act like this for, what I guess. Well, I don't remember specific, but that's whole like. Not wanting to have relationships or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember what, but it was.
That sounds almost as bad as like the fluoride in the water making you making you susceptible to the liberal agenda or some nonsense like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the whole thing where you can't talk about it realistically because you're too concerned with being entertainment for whatever your fan base is.
Yeah, and because something stupidly snarky, Chad would say like, "Oh, they just have to have more oysters," or I love the one. You know what they should? You know what they? He goes, it's like, here's the solution. Just say hello.
Yeah,
for the men.
He's just obnoxious anyway.
Yeah.
Like his entire character.
And it's like, dude, you have like no insight into how Japanese culture operates at all.
But they have to comment on it because that's the whole thing. So we gotta toe the line. We gotta talk about this stuff, but we can't actually talk about it truthfully because if we were to be real about it, then I have to say something we're uncomfortable with.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't latch on to the whole Emi Nita thing about like. This voice actor who's once in porn, and a very small vocal minority is like, destroying their merchandise and shit.
They wouldn't even.
I can tell you why they didn't do that. Because then they'd have to talk about porn.
No, that's not even on their radar. Do you think they know anything about the anime industry?
No.
No. That doesn't stop people from talking about it.
Certainly, but that wouldn't even be on their radar.
I like what is it? Review Tech USA brought up the commercial. Oh no, not the commercial, but there's like a thing that about the video showing off those new Dead or Alive mouse pads.
Yes. Good times. I've always kind of liked I've always liked oh, what's her name? Purple hair.
Yeah.
Huh?
Ayane.
Ayane. I could not remember her name for the life of me.
She's also.
And they bounce just like real breasts if you move them like this, like
If you think that's not even the real story. The real story, these butt physics, man. Have you seen these things?
Yes.
Like, I want to know how they were what kind of were they like just grabbing real asses and going, okay, we need this
R&D, yeah.
That's that freaking techno. That it's not even a joke. Like that's a real feature of the game that they actually researched and developed.
Yeah. Tecmo butt physics.
And meanwhile, here people were complaining about what's that game, Overwatch, and the butt pose.
Speaking of which, speaking of hilariousness, not to go on too much of a tangent, but people were complaining about World War I simulator battle game.
Oh yeah, why?
Did you see that?
No.
Because it's quote unquote making light of the tragedy of World War I. It's like, no, it isn't, you fucking idiot. First off, do you even know who? When I hear people say that, I want to ask them, do you even know who all fought in World War I?
In 1998 and like 2008, we had this inundation of World War II games.
Yeah.
Like, we've done.
Why is one off limits?
It's because there are very clear delineations of good and evil in World War II, and World War I is a much more murky and
unpleasant
and ambiguous conflict.
Well, yeah, it's because I mean, I've looked at it for a while, and if you look at it from outside, which is really easy to do if you're in the U.S. because you weren't in the mire of it really.
Exactly.
You can just see the reason it got so out of control was because of these alliances other people didn't know about that were kind of going on. I don't want to say under the table so much as they just weren't public. Area A attacks Area B, but Area B is friends or has a deal with Area D, E, and F.
Right.
And then but D, E, and F are also enemies with Z, Y, and X.
Yeah. So and it's like it's a lot easier to portray things in World War II heroically because the combat was so much more dynamic. Like you can't really get excited for trench warfare like you can with stuff going on in World War II.
No, it's just people climbing out and getting sniped in no man's land and mustard gas and shit flying back and forth.
You're sitting there in a wet, miserable trench, popping up and firing a couple shots and hoping you don't get gassed or shelled. That's like the war.
And that went on for years.
Yeah.
So, 4 to be exact.
Like, it's like really, it's the difference between Saving Private Ryan and Paths of Glory.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, I think.
Which is because one's a World War II movie, one's a World War I movie, and they're both like that portrayal of here's how more like how the war was, and here's like more like how this war was in terms of theme.
Yeah.
Right.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's one that most people should see or read at least once. A lot of people don't really talk about the first one too much, I guess, because the second one dwarfed it to an extent.
Yeah.
The second one was it was much more dynamic. It was much more good versus evil.
Higher tech.
Like a whole lot of the way we fight wars today
is still based upon a lot of that.
Different from the ways we fought World War II. There's a whole lot of really older concepts going on in World War I.
Right. I mean, there were still places that were using horses and
exactly.
You know,
Drawing Girl says, "How do we get from Moé killing the industry to World War I and World War II?"
well, Japan was in both of those.
Yeah. Wait, it's still related.
Cause, Girls in Panzer and Strike Witches. There's the link. There's the link between the two.
Yeah.
I also love this notion that people have been bringing up, like, I saw it on your timeline, Anubis, like how people think that the popularity of these things is making
Japan militaristic again.
Yes.
No, they were that way well before this stuff came around.
Yeah. That's
the only reason they still weren't is because we kind of put a moratorium on not being allowed to do that.
But that these shows,
which is a thing that's lifting.
It is because of the area, because of the volatile. You know, North Korea is doing what North Korea does.
North Korea. China's
just doing what China does. You know, and there's no way they can just sit there with their thumb in their butt. I mean, realistically, that's not smart.
But even if you look at Girls in Panzer, and if you look at stuff like Girls in Panzer and Strike Witches, and you think they're pro-war, you're either stupid or you're lying.
Well, not even that, but it's hard to really pull nationalism from something that's clearly, or at least not in the way they're talking about.
There are ways in which you can take Girls in Panzer and glean a nationalistic sort of thing out of it, but it's not pro-war.
But they
say very explicitly, this isn't war. This is a game. Your tank will cry if you're a bad person.
Do you think this is a game?
That these shows are specifically viewed by people that are like, you know, right wing.
I would say these people don't really understand how right-wing mentalities actually work.
Well, they don't, because right-wing to them is a "this person is bad" signifier. So there was this whole thing with our Moe Otaku right-wing, and the references were using like stuff from some internet site and post on 2chan.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah, but that's just cherry picking.
Kind of specious sources you're doing, and then last year we saw that whole thing where there was the anti-foreigner protests in Akihabara, and then a whole bunch of otaku came out and blockaded that protest. And it was like, they don't seem all that right wing to me.
That would be like gauging like 4chan's random board and basing American culture just on that.
Exactly.
And saying,
well, yeah, it's cherry picking. It's picking things out of dubious sources that support what you want it to say.
Exactly.
It's no different than when you skew stats.
Look at all these like Moe war stories.
Moe war stories.
When was the last time you saw a Moe war story where it was actually nations at war? Strike Witches. The nations are all allied. Like, what isn't like the backstory of Girls in Panzer? After World War II, they basically took all the tanks away from the men, so they couldn't do war anymore, and so tank is now a young women's thing.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure like that's the. I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure
the gist. Yeah.
The gist of the Girls in Panzer, like, lore.
Well, here's the other thing. Haven't you people ever heard of an aesthetic? I mean, it's like thinking that the people behind Castlevania are actually religious.
Or was it the people behind Ava are promoting Christianity? No, it's a design aesthetic. It's a thing. I know what you're getting at. It's a thing to market.
It's exactly what it is.
It's like how Saint Seiya, Greek mythology, or you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, and the proof of this is pretty much just as Anubis said, is in the content.
Yeah, it's like Kantai Collection. It's not the U.S. versus Japan. It's a whole bunch. It's a collection of, at this point, multinational warships going up against some demons or some shit.
Yeah.
It's always whenever they're actually fighting something, they're fighting demons or monsters or aliens or something supernatural like that. Like even in High Fury, there's obviously some sort of abnormal element happening that's forcing these characters to attack one another.
Well, here's the other thing. Since we were talking about right-wing Moe fans, and that just the whole phrase makes me giggle. But as far as that goes, the thing is most right-wingers, especially in Japan, I doubt they even like anime.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I know
they probably think it's degenerate, to be honest.
I think. Well, there are some that blare the Yamato theme. I've heard.
Okay, fair enough.
Which kind of makes sense.
I've heard that, but yeah, I gather.
It would be like
Moe.
It'd be like old people in the Third Reich listening to jazz from the U.S. in a way, just like they would consider it to be kind of degenerate, low art, kind of. I mean, I don't know. It just strikes me as kind of ridiculous.
Mm.
It's like, hey, this thing isn't. I don't like this thing. Let's attribute it to politics I don't like.
Exactly. I don't like. It's the same reason that people use conservative as a bad thing to call people.
Well, it's just like the word.
So I'm gonna signal to everyone who I associate with, who are all of who because I'm the way I am with my politics, I only associate with people with similar politics. So I'm going to signal to all my friends that this person is a bad person by calling them conservative.
Yeah, which again, it's intriguing to me because there's got to be some kind of sociological issue with this, in the sense that, like, if you were to step outside and just kind of be looking at it like you were playing a game of The Sims or something, like that would be almost an interesting area of study. Personally,
I forget her name, but it's the feminist commentator that was interviewed in the Moe Manifesto.
Oh yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Like I was reading an interview a website did with Patrick W. Galbraith, and he had commented that she sees and this is going to be surprising to a lot of people. She sees a misogynist streak in the backlash against Moe and cute girl anime.
Well, it's funny in the sense.
Kind of makes sense to me.
Right. Well, it's funny in the sense like the one guy popped up on your site and was just like, complaining about it being effeminate and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
Yes, I remember that. The guy, an effeminate guy hanging around a bunch of girls. Isn't that kind of effeminate?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's so gay to hang out with girls. I mean, like,
kissing girls. That's
so gay. Isn't that from The Simpsons?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't it Jimbo Jones who says that? Or one of those guys?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it reminded me of. Yeah, exactly. But no, I think I understand what you're getting at, because, I mean, I would say that's more coming from the quote-unquote monome types.
I need my manly characters.
Well, to a certain extent, but it's funny that that's the like it's funny that kind of Kotani Mari is the woman's name. Drawing Girl says in the IRC. So it's funny that people characterize Moe as misogynistic, but from a different perspective, you can see the backlash against it as misogynistic, and I honestly think that makes more sense, because what problem do these people have with girls being in anime?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I don't really see a lot of that except from Maname people. I mean, like even e- they're the ones who seem to actually get more annoyed at the cute girls thing. Um, I don't know. It's almost like an offense to them. I have to think it's one of those things where they got into it through kind of the manga entertainment days,
Right.
to where it was where it was where it was being marketed as kind of this hyper masculine kind of.
Extreme.
Yeah, exactly. Which was totally a bullshit angle.
And the music they would play is like, you know,
Why?
yeah, it's not like anime music at all.
No, it almost reminds you of those stupid like fucking extreme Dr. Pepper commercials or something.
Yeah, Google was it the Manga UK ad?
Yeah, I mean, which I mean, I lived through some of that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I do love the Central Park Media one. You know, the one that played the theme for Genocider.
Oh, where they're showing all the hentai?
No, they didn't show the hentai. They were just showing like.
Sure, they did. Those were from I think the Anime 18 ones.
Okay, but there was another one that was just like their regular releases, and it had the theme for Genocider.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because they also have that because it's got like all the Erotsukidoshi, the Blue Girl, Twin Angels, and all that stuff, you know.
But there were people back then who people like Gerald of Anime World Order who did not like the fact that of the existence of that stuff, the hentai stuff, because it was making anime look bad.
That's fucking bad.
That's still going on.
That's kind of too bad though. It's like, oh, I don't like an element of something, you know, because it makes me look bad. Well, I'd say that's more an insecurity on your part.
Sounds like a personal hang-up.
Yeah, exactly. You think they're gonna go away? Because you personally don't like it? Okay.
It makes me feel. You guys should be ashamed because what you like is so creepy.
Okay.
Duly noted.
I'm duly noted. Yeah, I'm not offering to share it with you. I don't or be your friend or whatever. So I don't understand what's the big deal. Again, I don't know. Just seems like one of those things where, hey, object A is something I don't like, and a bunch of other people do, and I don't like this thing, so I don't like them either.
Isn't like at that point it's like, what are you doing? It's like
Guilt by association.
I don't like this thing. So then what I can't do is just like the stuff I like. I have to make what other people who like it are doing my business.
And that actually bothers me. I mean, maybe it's just because I was kind of taught with that live and let live kind of thing.
I was taught, hey, do you? Who cares what anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I really don't care until you try to, you know, get in what I'm into and try to basically take it away.
Exactly.
Well, remember all the shit I had to deal with Toy Box DX, which again, different from Collection DX. Some of the shit I had to hear, which, okay, maybe granted I was a little pushy on the Moe aspect of, you know.
I'm sure their tumbleweeds are still fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, it was like even the mere mention of Moe was like, you know.
You wouldn't want to tell me that because I would exploit that.
Oh yeah.
Dropping the, you know,
dropping loads.
Well, dropping more like dropping more like a grenade and but I don't know. Again, some of it had to do that. A lot of these people were like at the time I was younger and they were older, so
okay.
You know.
You were younger, they were older, so they should have been more mature.
But they weren't.
But they weren't.
Dropping loads all over your anime figures.
It's like I'm 25, and a whole lot of these people complaining about Moe are older than me, and I'm like, why are you complaining so much? Like, what are you doing?
I'll point this out, and I think this is a bigger problem with American culture in general. We tolerate whining too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a problem. It is a problem. If you don't think it is, you have not lived out in the real world long enough.
Yeah.
There isn't really a get out and take care of your business sort of attitude amongst like the general populace.
Well, that's just it. Whine.
Go out and just whine all the time because like not because it's gonna help anyone, but just because it's gonna make you feel better for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with what Sargon of Akkad once said about how we kind of need to go back to like stoic training because
stoic training
or something like that.
Stoicism.
Yeah, stoicism, because the problem, a lot of like one of the reasons with the social justice aspect of a lot of people of those type of other people is they're just so emotional. They base everything on emotional, and they don't think about things. It's all
speaking about people that don't use critical thinking skills.
Like it's all knee-jerk reaction, and that's why we get people like Trigglypuff.
Drawing Girl brings out a good point. It's ironic because working to improve things is what this country was founded on.
Yeah, but you got to understand these people were given things, and they didn't have to work for things, in many cases.
Well, they were very lucky to have been given things, but the way the real world works is provide value.
They don't like the meritocracy type of things.
That's the one rule: provide value. You're not providing value to me, I have no reason to associate with you.
And of course, their assessment of Moe is at Toy Box. Yes, it was basically lolicon. Not that I'm against lolicon, obviously, but that was their,
That's a lot of people's assessment of Moe.
Yeah.
Again, that's because it's become a catch-all term.
Like VZ goes with Sargon of Akkad's thing where everyone we should go back to stoicism. I'm gonna go with Adam Carolla's New Year's resolution, which is everyone needs to get their shit together. My New Year's resolution is you all need to get your shit together.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like him.
I can see why, but he's got a point, and I find myself agreeing with him more and more.
Well, yeah. The thing is we have taught again. I see this in like my younger siblings and some of my relatives and so forth. We're not preparing them.
No.
We're not giving them ways to deal with things that like when they hit conflict and things like that.
No.
We're basically tell them to run and hide, or it'll just go away on its own.
Safe spaces.
And if they don't, then you'll have to get an authority figure to get rid of the problem.
By the way, I love this video.
That's unfortunate that they weren't prepared for that, but the real world
doesn't care.
The rule of the real world is provide value. So either you do that, or nobody's gonna give a damn about you.
This is a channel that I like called Wrecked Feminist Videos. And,
I think I know what thing you're talking about.
And there was one where this woman was going, was it get out of here? You're in our space. And then the guy goes, your safe space.
Okay.
And then it was like, added in sound effects like, "Gotcha, bitch."
Okay, I don't quite get what the humor there was though.
Because
I'm so burned out on this. I'm so burned out on this whole thing that like 75% of the time it's not even funny to me anymore. It's just like, okay, this is another person who
that's clearly been pampered.
well, it's not even that. It's another person who's not gonna get anywhere.
Definitely not. Not unless they live on.
Why should I even waste my time on a video making fun of them?
Well, I would say more than anything else, I think this is why we're seeing more in the ways of things like clickbait, because that's the way they can get a living. Because
yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say I also love this other video of it was from the UK of this obvious feminist with dyed hair, but still in the UK of like talking about stuff such and such, but like she wanted to do something where she like charged money, and then this like guy comes up and saying, I was prepared to do it for free, and you had the audacity to like charge money, and he basically like tears into her.
Oh yeah, I know which one I know.
Yeah, yeah. And then you see him like just pouring a thing of vodka, like just like like I need a drink after hearing all this shit.
It's like it's just to the point where I have a whole lot to do. Like I get back from work, and then I basically go to work again because I'm working on all this stuff for She's Lost Control.
Yeah.
For Yashike, I'm editing episodes of NTR Radio. I was like, I have so much to do that people will they'll get one up on these people by making videos, making fun of them. My one up on these people is I'm gonna get somewhere and you're not.
That sounds good.
It's like the ultimate one up. Because
until they want to take your money away from you through the wonderful
they're not gonna
sharing of the wealth.
Yeah, they're not gonna. That's not gonna happen. Like it's like you do implementing policy predicated on people who have wealth staying where they are. So they'll have to give it to other people. Like, what do you understanding that people who have wealth have enough money to move?
Well, not only that. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously that, but also that very idea causes stagnation. Because what point is there to be successful if you're not going to have anything for it?
It's like why work if it's not gonna improve your quality of like why accumulate wealth
if you don't get to keep it, for one?
Accumulating more wealth means you need to give substantially more of that away.
But I want my
iPad?
Marxist. No, I want my Marxist fantasy utopia.
North Korea.
I was gonna say try Greece. It's doing well.
But Morning Rise has the perfect explanation. We don't encourage people to be great. We encourage mediocrity.
I wouldn't even say we encourage mediocrity so much as we encourage people to just do the minimum.
Yeah, well, it's like we encourage. Yeah, just get by because it's easier to say, yeah, good enough.
Everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah, I honestly do think that actually does have a lot to do with the kind of the cultural
Thanks, 90s.
mentality that we've kind of developed over time here.
Thanks, 90s.
It's like, yeah.
Possibly the 80s, but I'm gonna blame more the 90s.
No, it was definitely more the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't the best, but it would be too much work for us to try
and we don't want to have to deal with pissy parents.
Why did my kid not get a trophy?
Well, I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah, when parents act more immature than their kids. As a matter of fact, there's a fantastic commercial out there. I thought it was hilarious, and it's the auto insurance commercial where they're in the locker room and Flo comes over and punches him in the arm and says that it's like, yeah, you did your best, Slugger. Let's go get you some ice cream. And he's just like, can I have some sprinkles? Sprinkles are for winners.
Ha!
I'm like, boy, if that isn't just succinctly what kind of needs to happen there.
But it's like this pervades throughout the entire culture. I was in the video game club, and okay, so I'm not gonna make any bones about it. I'm really good at Halo. But whenever I start playing Halo, and there was this other girl there, and she's decent at Halo. Like, she gives me a run for my money at Halo. But every time I beat her, the first thing she says is, "Oh, I don't play to win, I'm just playing for fun." Unprovoked, mind you. The only thing that possibly could have provoked her was me besting her, and I'm not even gloating about it.
No.
But the frame is, "Oh, I'm just playing for fun." I'm not playing to win. When, like, the entire purpose of a game is to win the game. Like, if you look at the manual for chess, and where in that manual does it tell you how to have fun?
Well, I mean, the fun is kind of in the execution.
Fun is a byproduct of trying to win the game.
Right. Or in some cases, if it's like just something that it doesn't really have an end per se, like I don't know, pinball or something like that. The idea is just to get the high score.
That's winning in pinballs. Get the high score.
Right.
But well, because what is it? Games now don't games have like the tutorial or the thing where if you let it, like I think a lot of Wii games like have the thing where it just lets you play on its own or something.
That's the Wii.
Yeah.
That's really indicative of where we've come with video games as far as winning goes.
Games are only fun when you win. If you've played Ninja Gaiden, you know that's true. Because, put it this way, again, showing my age, the NES versions of Ninja Gaiden, they're notoriously hard. And then again, the Xbox ones aren't particularly easy either. But the NES ones I think are worse because, well, they're old games and they have iffy hitboxes and all this other glorious stuff that came with
I never
early
actually
games.
played Ninja Gaiden except for the watch LED the LED watch.
Uh-huh.
The Tiger Electronic, if that counts. But I know, what is it? The wind hits you, you get hit back.
Yeah, I mean that's just a trait of old games. When you get hit, you get knocked back.
Yeah, and then you fall off.
It's called knockback. So if you get hit near a cliff, you're pretty much done, or anything like that. But beyond that, there also was things respawned like a motherfucker. Flight enemies are assheads in NES games. Yes, they are. Any kind of birds or flying objects in the Ninja Gaiden games is just say no to birds, people.
But yeah, it's like so many people just seem to
Bats.
no longer care about winning because they don't. I guess, do they not want to put in the effort to win against like players? Like I play Elite Dangerous. I've been just straight up murdered by people. Like, they'll come out, they'll pull my freight out of hyperspace and murder me. And like it's nothing I can do anything about. They just have a better ship than me and killed me. So the solution is to get a better ship and get better at the game. To me.
Right. And to be fair, games of that nature are somewhat different because the competition is between other people rather than the computer.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little off topic.
We've gotten very off topic.
Yeah, I think we.
True enough.
So like.
Because liking Moe's hard.
But it's the whole thing. The whole thing is, it goes back to what I was talking about with the whole thing about otaku that I spent 3 Neon the Magazine articles on. Stop lying. We understand that you don't like Moe, but you don't have to portray it as something bad to make it look bad.
But what
they're afraid of is that more people will like it, and that there will be more Moe stuff coming out, and to a certain extent, and this goes into the otaku thing as well, that kind of fan behavior will be normalized.
Well, I think the biggest thing besides that is again the very erroneous kind of assumption that funds and work will be allocated to it instead of the stuff they like.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
not true.
No.
It doesn't work like that.
It's they're trying to build the tallest tower in the city by tearing everyone else's tower down. And what they really need to start doing is actually giving some support and doing some really long, sustained, years-long discussion about the anime they like, so people know it exists and people will go out and get it, want more of it, and hopefully they'll see over in Japan and say, hey, these people really like this stuff. Let's make some more of that so we can go get some of that money.
I heard something about Project H doing something with Kodomo no Jikan.
They licensed it.
Oh, they did?
The manga?
Okay. Yeah, it's coming out.
Where was I during this?
Good question. I don't know. I saw it on Twitter.
Was I up in the clouds, or what the hell was going on here?
Did it last month.
What, last month? How the hell did I not know about this? Well,
yeah, I think this is new to me too. I might have heard something, but I thought it was not true. Or
I heard something, but I was just like, I didn't know if somebody was just fucking with me, or was it reported on ANN? I have a feeling that story might not be a real story for them.
Take a look at that, because I mean,
that could be interesting for reasons that well, you'll have to do a little homework on that.
I don't think that was mentioned.
Gee, I wonder why that could be.
I'm looking up I'm looking for the announcement now.
Well,
I did hear that they licensed it,
which is intriguing but it makes sense for them to have it.
Yeah.
Because I can see why 7Cs were just kind of like, I don't know about this.
If anyone's gonna get Kodomo no Jikan, it was either gonna be Project H or Faku.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says here it was relicensed by Digital Manga. Yeah, DM.
Yeah. So that's the parent company of Project H.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. So
there you go.
I got a Crunchyroll news report about it going up in the ERC now.
So you kids get over here.
I'm gonna look this up on ANN and see if they did anything about it. Kodomo no Jikan.
Licensed Kiss Sis and
maybe the anime has hope now.
The thing we were talking about this the other day, and it's still a problem with me. Kiss Sis, or I always call it Kiss X Sis, and same with High School DxD because it sounds weird to me not to do it.
Yeah.
I know it's not technically correct, so you don't have to give me that lecture. I know that.
I vacillate between Kiss Sis and Kiss X Sis. I always do High School DxD.
Yeah, because that would just sound weird if you didn't. Then again, I'm also one who's never going to say Magika. I'm sorry. it ain't happening.
Or Mazinger Zeto.
It would be nice if
Mazinger Z.
This search was in chronological order, but it's not.
You know what you do? Go look on ANN. Just look for the entry of Kodomo no Jikan, and then it'll have the list of news stories.
Well, yeah, that's what I did, but it's not.
But he's saying they're not in chronological order.
Right. Okay.
I'm looking through the news, and it doesn't look like there's any entries about Kodomo no Jikan being licensed.
Because they're always.
It looks like they completely overlooked that entire piece of news.
Why could that be?
The Anime News Network. Not trying to speculate, but.
Like I said, we're not going to name names, but if you do a little research or homework, you'll know what we're talking about.
Let's see. I am looking.
And no, I'm never going to call them the Tetons.
Well, they mention They mentioned like okay, wait, okay, no, never mind, because that's
Uh,
50 and I'm looking for 20.
Nah, I don't see it here at all.
No, it's not there.
No.
So we just engaged in a live dissection of something here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Admittedly,
How they
I have.
missed that news story that
Let me stroke my chin here.
Admittedly, the only thing of Kodomo G-Con I've ever seen is the first OVA, the one that came out right before the TV series.
I've read a substantial I've read a substantial amount of the manga as well as the and watched most of the anime series.
Yeah, most people tell me, because I haven't ever watched really the anime series outside of like some clips and stuff. Most people tend to tell me that the show itself isn't nowhere near as good.
Mm.
It's decent, but as with many manga to anime conversions, the manga goes a lot more in depth with things.
Right. I mean that just happens with some shows in general. Anyway, moving back to Moe or Mo for some of you, because
Moe-tan. Remember Moe-tan?
Yeah, I do.
I remember hearing about it, but never actually saw any of it.
Moe-tan's funny because it.
That's where one of the was it an image macro
Yes.
or motivational poster or something?
Yeah, motivational poster. And
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm a 17-year-old high school, and it was like
bullshit. Yeah, I remember that. That was circulating around for a few years actually. Pretty fun.
I love they used a clip of Motan's transformation in that documentary I told you about. All Men Are Pedophiles.
I actually did see that eventually.
Yeah.
Did I mention that? I actually did watch that, and despite having a provocative name, it's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Again, kind of a clickbaity almost name.
VZ does bring up a good point. A lot of these people associate Mo with Lolicon, and to a certain extent, I feel like that's also an "Are you stupid or are you lying" thing, because I'm not willing to believe that many of these people don't know the difference, but I am willing to believe that they're deliberately using that association to make it look like a bad thing.
You like these young juvenile-looking characters. That means you want to fuck out. And I was like, it's like, yeah, as one of our good, actually it was before NTR Radio, but one of our good listeners, or what was his name? Oni-chan. No, what was his name?
Noechi?
Oni-chan Noechi.
Oh yeah.
When I used to write it for a show, and he was saying like how, talking about like the Moe to Moe and Lolicon to like actual child rape is basically like going from ABC to like XYZ.
Yeah,
and completely ignoring the entire rest of the alphabet.
Yeah, exactly. It
really is, because there's so many factors there. But let's not get into that. That's a whole episode in and of itself.
Yeah.
Which we will cover at some point. Spoiler alert. But now is not that time.
Now is not that time. Now is the time for a break.
So get out your dancing shoes, people.
Well, let's get some more Moe Jazz in here. Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
Moe Jazz. So basically sound euphonium.
Is like Yui going to be playing Miles Davis?
But don't you know, Kaon is voyeuristic.
Looking through the keyhole.
Yes, it's voyeuristic. You're watching it and you're like jacking off.
Moe jizz. No. See, that's what people do while they're watching Moe, right? Right?
Yeah, that's what you watch while you're watching your friends. Right? You fap to it.
That actually brings up something that I do want to expand on at the beginning of the third segment.
Yeah, every show is voyeuristic. No shit, you're looking at it on a screen.
There's some shit I gotta
Uh.
I gotta air out because.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, it's like. So
The
I'm
Mad episode, part 6, or whatever part we're on?
not even gonna be mad. It's just gonna be an observation I've made, because like. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it yet, but it's a certain way that a lot of the Anti-Moe Brigade engages with Moe that I've found kind of weird, because it seems to be deliberately designed to make it look questionable or sketchy in that way.
Yeah, I know.
We also have mail.
Yeah.
Yes. You should play the Blue's Clues theme.
No.
I love how I barely even got it finished out of my mouth before you said no.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
I really like. Speaking of some of the stuff going on in the chat right now, Brave Witches. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, let's go.
I am very, very happy about that. Although I will say I don't think their designs are quite as good from a character design perspective, but that's not everything. So.
I'm just glad they're focusing on a different fighter wing, because
Yeah, that was the smart thing to do.
we can do the 5.0 first, but I mean, there's so many other witches out there. Let's get some of that.
Why do our breaks always sound like we're in a lobby somewhere? Or you're waiting for a phone call to be transferred.
Like that's the whole thing where it's like, I like the whole jazz lounge aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the three of us talking, and then we go to the commercial break, and it's like the camera just pans out while the jazz band starts playing.
Yeah, it's like the SNL band or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Saturday Night Live, how they have the house band, and they play them out when they go to commercial.
Exactly.
I always like that in the newsroom too, where you see them talking and it pans out, and and they're still talking, and obviously making jokes and shit.
Exactly.
Fucking thing sucks.
Song's over.
Fucking thing sucks.
Bring that back.
This is worse than an R.L. Stein book.
Bill O'Reilly.
Fucking worse than an R.L. Stein book.
Yeah, he just wanted to do that.
Love that drop in.
Speaking of which, we'll do it live.
Nintendo, we're gonna do this.
Oh, Nintendo, we're gonna do this. At least I have W Blue Sky Lives.
Your blue sky.
Horsecock and Tiny Mouth.
Is within the Da Vinci Code, both the novel by Dan Brown
And the film. That video is still very humorous.
Yeah.
Uh,
I actually downloaded that ROM hack. It's just as impossible as it looks.
yeah. Oh, I believe you.
Which one?
It's called Mario Forever, isn't it?
Mario Forever. It's the one they were playing in Super Mario Frustration.
Mm.
Yeah. Where it's just I should realize this.
There's no flaw.
What the hell? Fuck you, Goomba.
Looper. All right, ready on third segment.
That is a big fire stick.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. So before we get into the mail, there is a quick point I want to make on the whole Moe thing. And here's something I noticed. I was looking at a thread on Reddit that was back when I had done the ANN cast episode, and one of the commenters, his whole thing was that I seem to be trying to steer the discussion away from like the more sexual aspects of Moe. And to a certain extent, yeah, I was deliberately trying to do that, and here's why. You ever notice how whenever the Anti-Moe Brigade talks about Moe, it's always in a sexual context?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to. That's why I try to separate it from that like that, because I'm tired of every discussion having to turning to sex because it's a prurient thing, and it's really easy to portray that as deviant.
These people have never heard the term heart boner.
I don't even think it's so much like that, because again, that's associating it sexually. My thing is, let's look at it as a method of appeal, and instead of trying to look at it sexually, let's look at it as just character appeal. And it seems like every time someone who isn't like the Moe guy, Time Enforcer Anubis, tries to engage with Moe, it has to eventually come to the sexual element, because that's where it's easy to portray as something deviant.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all very interesting to me, because when people throw around terms like deviant and degenerate, I mean, I personally find it funny in the sense where, you know, I use it very jokingly.
Yeah, same here.
But these people are serious when they say it. They're not using it as kind of a like nudge, ha, you know. They're actually, it strikes me very much as very Puritan.
Yeah.
Even though they claim it's not, what else can you call it?
That's the reason they have to bring up sexuality every time they're talking about Moe, because like, how can we portray this as something that is sketchy or skeevy in some way, because I already don't like it, so I have to come up with a way to portray it as less than.
Well, I mean, and it's interesting in the sense that you can't really put, I mean, as much as some people want to say otherwise, you can't really put K-On! And Kiss X in the same basket.
No.
I do.
Okay, what I mean by that is in their intent.
Oh, they really try to.
No, you can try, but it doesn't make sense to do that.
It makes sense to them because that's their narrative.
Well, I'm saying though, is K-On! Was not created with the idea of titillation in this way.
No, but they think it was.
It's very obvious it's not.
It's obvious to us because we think about this stuff, but not to them because they have this knee-jerk reaction.
The thing is when I saw K-On! The first time, because I heard the bitching, and anytime I hear bitching about something, that's almost guaranteed me to pique my interest into looking at something.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's just that human curiosity thing.
Mm.
But when I hear someone say, "Hey, K-On! Is this or whatever is that," I'm like, okay, well I got to see what the bitching is about. And I watched it, and the only thing I could think of after I was finished was that was it.
Exactly.
This is what people are getting their proverbial panties in on wad about. Wow. I think Dragon Ball Z had more fan service and questionable things in it than this. Hey, it actually shows penises and peeing.
Give it a third goes. Fan service, more like cute service. And diabetes. Yes.
And
Yes.
diabetes. The beatus.
Yes.
The beatus, yeah.
But yeah, anyway,
If you watch KO and you get the beatus.
it's mail time.
Yes.
Incoming message.
This one's coming in from Jekyll Geek. Hello, NTR Radio pals. I have some more responses for you guys. Number one, I would like to say I'm really sorry for being a jerk the past week. I'll try not to do it again. That's a whole personal issue. We don't have to go into that. Look, listen to the Bakugaijin show if you want a small piece of what happened there. But number two, I know your topic is Moé killing the anime industry? Here are some of my best responses. 1. Yes, until something else becomes popular, and then that will be the cancer killing the industry. And we kind of just where I don't think that's gonna really be the case. If it's something else that these people don't like, then yes, it will be. But if it's something that they do like, they're just gonna embrace it and it's not gonna be the cancer killing the industry at that point.
Finally got rid of that Moe crap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
2. Isn't it great now the anime industry has a tragic backstory for all my favorite visual novel girls?
To be fair, I don't really like I haven't really been liking a lot of the visual novel based stuff. Lately?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just me?
It's been a while since I've watched a legit visual novel anime.
Adaptation, rather.
I really can't think of any.
Well, yeah, or whatnot, because I honestly
does
think...
Photokano count? That's more of it's kind of visual novel, but it's also like a game where you take pictures.
Right, yeah. Well, I would say more than anything else is the problem with most of that is those games are self-insert games a lot of the time.
Right.
And the problem with that is when you go through an adaptation, you can't really have the same level of interactivity. And so they have to kind of make it almost a little bland and generic.
Well, I mean, that's the case with any visual novel game.
Well, right. I'm just saying I think that's why they don't do so well for me. Because when you're playing the game, there's that level of interactivity that's the reason it even works.
Right, I got you.
Whereas when you're watching these things, you don't have no choices or anything. It's just from point A to point B. And, there's no level of interactivity with it.
One thing I do like as far as visual novel anime goes, one thing I hope they do more of is like the arc-based show.
Yes,
I think those work better.
Yeah, I like those.
Yusuga no Sora.
Yosuga no Sora, Amagami SS, Photokano.
Yeah, Photokano.
Oh, speaking of Photokano, that one kind of went and didn't make much of a splash, but when it did come out, the comments about it were actually pretty funny.
Yeah, people were bitching about it again because
they were just like, "Oh, this is." I think the most absurd one was that, now people are gonna think it's okay to be creepy taking pictures of girls. It's like, who the fuck watches anime and emulates it in this way? I want to know who watched Akira and then thought they could drive a motorcycle and beat on people and shit and do they think people are that monkey see monkey do?
Yes.
To where they think if these are the people that think if you watch Tom and Jerry you will hit each other with irons and just because you saw it, I mean,
to a certain extent,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did these people even leave the house?
I don't know.
It's like, hey, you saw a car commercial, you can drive, right?
Anyway, number 3. Molly killed the industry in 2010. However, it was undead, and zombies and vampires at that point in time, it was cool. But then we got the Dragon Balls in 2013 and wished it back to life. Number 4. Realized that more mecha shows were made in 2015 than in 20 years before that.
That's actually kind of an interesting anecdote.
Depends. Well, I mean, if it depends if you ignore how pretty much not all, but nearly every OVA of a lot of OVAs in like the 80s just threw in a robot just because. So
Yeah,
if,
a lot of RPGs do that too.
Even though, like, yeah, there were still more mecha shows made in 2015 than in 1995.
well, that was a downturn in mecha anyway.
But
That later.
that's not the point, though. The point is, there's still a whole lot of other stuff coming out, and maybe it's valuable to concentrate on other stuff and not, not concentrate on what you don't like.
Here's the thing. That speaking of imitating stuff that happens, what about that kid who was imitating Naruto? Oh God.
Well,
Remember?
Yeah, the sandbox.
Yeah.
Or sand ninjas as the news.
Yeah. He buried himself face first in a sandbox.
We call that the Darwin Award.
And he died. It's just like, well, the idea of Naruto is ninjas, right? Well, he wasn't seen or heard.
Yeah. Anyway, next email. This one's coming in from Cubit the Third. Hello, NTR Radio. Me again, so I've been going through more Ori emo with my friend, getting towards the end of Season 2. By the way, the Ori emo episode is still happening, but some things have to happen before that, like getting a mixer that allows for 2 mics. Oh, okay, Daddy 2 mics. Ballin'.
Really, Anubis? Daddy 2 mics?
But again, you're all invited to this episode when Otaku Midnight gets to it. With that, I would like to revise my Ori emo best girl list. This list was made before I got to the True Route OVAs. I need to add Senna Akagi to the list. Such a dirty Fujoshi. Yeah,
we love dirty Fujoshi here on NTR
one of my
Radio.
favorite arc, the really scary Fujoshi archetype. Not given enough love, and people need to be more.
I find them very entertaining. I also find the ones that love creepy stuff in the sense like they're excited by violence and stuff. That's really entertaining to me.
My favorite robotics nose character is Frau Kojiro, because the scene will be them both in front of her computer and they'll be talking about some serious stuff, but you also see like the yaoi porn window she also has up on screen.
Hey, that's just art imitating life there.
Exactly. Lastly, a new Otaku Midnight this Tuesday. This time we'll be doing a response to an article on Wave Motion Canon called Anime Guilt. That's all for now. Have a good one.
I actually have read that before.
Oh, what's that about?
The Anime Guild one. I read it a while back. I have to probably look at it again just to remember the Cliff Notes.
It's a good thing because I actually wanted to talk about that article and the concepts that contained in that article. Because
yeah, I thought it was an interesting read.
Is it anime that you watched that you regret seeing, or is it feeling guilty about,
the latter?
Yeah.
It's more the latter, but like so you know how every now and again you'll see an anime fan, usually a Moe fan, kind of jokingly refer to themselves as, I have shit taste, Moe shit, trash people, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The article's sort of investigating that mentality, like from a standpoint of why people find that necessary.
Oh, so the wah hipster mentality.
Ouch.
No, it's not even the wah hipster mentality. It's just like people deflectingly referring to themselves as, I'm just trash with shit taste because I watch Moe and all that kind of stuff.
See, I do that sometimes, but I just do it as like a joke to myself.
I think in some ways this is them signaling.
But here's my thing with it though. nobody would have ever gotten the idea to even do that if people weren't calling people trash for watching the wrong cartoons and being serious about it.
Oh yeah, I mean this is a way of passively almost kind of like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
Because it's not even I don't give a shit. It's that this is what you do when the environment is such that you have groups of people who are attacking one fan base or another based on watching the wrong stuff, and the people getting attacked haven't trained themselves to be able to articulate why they like what they like and defend themselves on that way, so it's just easier to agree and amplify and deflect that way.
Right, but it is deflection.
It's deflection, but number one, is it really effective? And number two, is it really healthy to be doing that, especially in a fan base? Because at a subtle level, what that does is it creates an undercurrent mentality where you actually do think you're shit because you watch this stuff, and to a certain extent you take on that persona, and from the outside looking in, it looks like you're just ashamed of what you do, but you do it anyway.
Well, you know what they refer to that?
What?
For doing like on a Psychopath Dramatica. They call that troll shielding.
Right, and my thing is that really effective? Because people haven't stopped calling Moé fans shit for watching the wrong anime.
Because
and brings up the perfect point. Nobody jokingly calls themselves trash for liking Cowboy Bebop. You've never heard a hardcore Akira or Cowboy Bebop person say, "Oh, I'm just weeb trash."
True enough.
Because
not that I can remember.
The thing about troll shielding is, oh, I'm a potential, troll victim, so let me self-deprecate myself, so that way it seems like it doesn't bother me that I get, made fun of for whatever it is that I like.
Well, even reacting to it in that way just means that it does bother you. So it's my thing is, number one, this is a problem that's caused on the outside by people earnestly calling people terrible names for liking the wrong cartoons. Like, picture this: you get up in the morning, possibly earlier than you want to get up in the morning. Go to a place you don't want to go and do stuff you don't want to do for 8 hours. Come home, want to relax, watch some stuff that you enjoy, and then people call you names for it. Like, and we're in a paradigm that some people think that's okay. To call people names for watching the wrong cartoon, for doing stuff they enjoy that helps them relax. Because, like, how many people out there go out and work a job that they really don't like? How many people out there have this kind of not really, they're not living the top of life. They're going through their life. They're doing what they need to do to be a grown-ass man, grown-ass woman, and they want to enjoy themselves when they get home. But then people call them shit for it. Under what paradigm would that be okay outside of the anime fandom here?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So the real problem is that there are people who think it's okay to shit on people for watching the wrong cartoons, and I think that that's a problem that needs to be addressed. And I think that the next problem that needs to be addressed is people shouldn't feel the need to agree and amplify in that way, and shit on themselves for liking the wrong cartoons just to deflect from attacks from other people. So you have to subtly, subconsciously make yourself feel worse about yourself in order to deflect other people trying to make yourself feel bad about yourself. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy where regardless of whether you self-deprecate or just sit there and take it, they win. When really the solution is, number one, give some people the middle finger and say, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna do me. And number two, do the exercise, sit down, understand why you like the things you like, be able to articulate that, so that you can at least defend yourself articulately from that kind of criticism.
Yeah, and again, I don't understand what's so wrong about not having to I mean, it's nobody's beholden to anybody with this shit.
It's like, why
do you care so much why I like something?
Why do people care? I don't get it.
It's not like you're hanging out in my house and I'm tying you down, forcing you to watch crap you don't like.
I'm not spending your money on anime figures. I'm spending my money on anime figures.
Yeah, but by you liking what you like, they're getting less of what they like.
No,
except that's not how that works.
I know that.
Not. They're getting less of what they like by being dispassionate. Understand that we have the privilege of being dispassionate in this anime world right now. Back in the 70s, back in the 80s, when they were tape trading, they didn't have the privilege of being dispassionate because you had to go through a bunch of bullcrap to even get the stuff in the first place. So when it comes in and you watch it, you're like, holy crap, this is anime. When now we can get anime for free, and it's like, okay, this is anime, and now we have a bunch of dispassionate people making fun of other people because they don't get enough anime they like. Number one, that's childish. Number two, some of this stuff borders on actual harassment. Number three, if you want more stuff you like, perhaps support the stuff you like instead of trying to down on people who like different stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, period. That's not how you go about it. But because it's easier and more fun to make fun of other people for liking different kind of stuff, we get to the environment we have today. What I'm saying is, we should start calling these people out more and telling them, hey, cool in the gang, if you hate me because I'm sitting here now surrounded with anime figures and anime girl posters, ain't your money. Once you start like paying for my anime merchandise, you can make decisions on what I buy. But until then,
kindly fuck off.
Mm-hmm. They buy you 20 copies of Redline.
Yeah, like you don't sign my checks. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain level of
20 Memphis kids.
There's a certain level of invasiveness too, in my opinion. Like what I do with my own hobbies in my own house or whatever. Why does that concern you at all? Again, at what point is it like, hey, I'm going to kidnap you, strap you into my chairs, and force you to build Gunpla?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no reason anyone should be concerned about what anyone's doing
I mean, I've never understood it. It's like when people go to, I don't know, music artists they hate, like their forums, and fuck with their fans.
Or how about was it the? Oh, sorry, a little echoing. The concept of hate watching. That's it.
That's just stupid.
It's this entire thing, and this is something that these people do a whole lot. Where honestly,
you sure lead rich lives.
I think it's kind of pervasive in the culture to a certain extent, where it's like, unless you've been tricked, I don't understand why anyone would ever leave a thumbs down on a YouTube video. If you don't like the video,
just don't watch it.
Proud to dumb down that Ghostbusters trailer.
Yeah, like
somebody has definitely got their mic too close.
Well, I'm sitting right over here, so right here.
Why would you ever use your own time to consume media you don't like? That doesn't make sense.
That's that ironic shit.
But it's like, if you don't,
I'm a hipster.
Why do it? I don't get that. And to a certain, maybe it's because I'm busy and I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
But even if I wasn't doing anything, I wouldn't find it necessary to deliberately consume media I don't like. Like, nowhere does that enter into my thought process where I'm gonna go out and watch Redline because I don't like Redline and I want to watch it. What I think it is they're just looking for any kind of feeling, and a negative feeling is really easy to access because they know what they don't like, so they can go on in and just consume some media that they already understand that they dislike, just to access the negative emotion.
Okay. Well then. Is that all the mail?
That's all the mail.
Any other thoughts?
That's about it.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
That's the show. The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is shizoscontrol.net/ntrradio. Check out VZ stuff at vzmk2 moemekagattai.wordpress.com. Get at us on Twitter at TEAnubis, at VZMK2, at LazyErica00. Check out Bakugaijin Show, Otaku Midnight. They're both really good. Check out Yashike, check out the magazine. Am I missing anything? I don't think I am.
Fuck 3-minute porn videos?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's the show. I'm Tom Enforcer Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And even though we get sidetracked and talk about World War I every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.